Hello and welcome to the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC TV. It's the Ford Basketball Championships in the CIF Southern Section. It figures to be a beauty. Top-ranked Windward against 8th-seeded Mayfair. Hello, everybody. My name is Randy Rosenblum, set to call the play-by-play. This is the Professor Paul Westfall. Windward is the favorite in the division, but there's no question Mayfair is dangerous at home.
Yeah, I agree. If this game was a final, no one would feel cheated. Let's start with Windward. They're the top seed, but they've been on the open division watch list all season long. They played a very tough schedule, and this is a well-coached team of superb athletes that has a bit of a score to settle. Last year, they suffered a heartbreaking loss in the semifinals to Chino Hills. They'd like to play an extra game or two this season, but for Mayfair, don't let those 11 losses fool you. This is a team that played a national schedule designed to showcase one of the country's top players. The Monsoons are tournament tested, and they know, Randy, what it takes to pull the upset.
Windward has a very young, talented team, but it's the senior Devin Tillis on his way to UNLV who has led them in the tournament.
Yeah, he's a coach on the floor. He's the kind of player that every coach would love to have. He plays with a certain calmness that translates to his young teammates. He can score, he can pass, and he can defend. He's the kind of guy that you love to have, especially when you've got a lot of young players surrounding him. Devin Tillis is the real deal. At
Mayfair, they're very excited about the senior Josh Christopher. He averages 30 a game. He's a McDonald's All-American.
And very deservingly so, one of the top scorers in the country. He will take and make shots that seem too difficult to even attempt. He's the type of guy who can get you 40-something on any night. And tonight, Randy, he might need that type of effort if they're going to pull the upset.
It's the Wildcats and the Monsoons. We'll have the starting lineup and the tip-off next on KDOC.
It's not pretty good or nothing. It's not acceptable or nothing. And it's definitely not close enough or nothing. Mercedes-Benz SUVs were engineered with only one mission in mind: to be the best. In the category, in the industry, in the world. Lease the GLA 250 SUV for just $299 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Hi, Wingstop.
Thanks.
Tonight, turn it up with 11 flavors so intense your dinner won't know what hit it. And neither will you. When the dinner craving hits, Wingstop delivers. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
It's 3 a.m. in the Bronx, New York. I'm on the corner of 187th and Belmont Avenue. This was my neighborhood. This is a Bronx tale.
A real tale of family, loyalty, and love. It's Jersey Boys meets West Side Story. See A Bronx Tale, the hit Broadway musical, right in your own neighborhood.
Coming to Sagerstrom Center for the Arts in Costa Mesa, March 10th through 22nd. For tickets, visit scfta.org today.
It's the fight of our lifetime, where we'll make a stand for honesty, national unity, and basic decency. So here's the thing. Whoever steps into that ring with Donald Trump better win. Because what's at stake is nothing less than America. So now, who do you think is tough enough to go the distance?
I'm running to defeat Donald Trump and put the United back in the United States of America.
Exactly.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
The CIF Southern Section Ford Division I Championships on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC is brought to you by Amtrak Pacific Surfliner. Need a getaway? Getting there's half the fun when you travel by train. Visit PacificSurfliner.com. And by Wingstop. Open late, order online at Wingstop.com. Number 1 seeded Windward, the Wildcats are 23-7. The Monsoons of Mayfair, the host school, 17-11. And our starting lineups are brought to you by Wingstop. Open late, order online at Wingstop.com.
For the visitors from Windward High School, it'll be Dylan Andrews, Devin Tillis, Jaron Harris, Marcus Joseph, and Kajani Wright. That's the starting five for head coach Colin Pfaff in his 4th year as the head man at Windward. But for Mayfair, it's Manny Duaney, Dior Johnson, Elijah Shahid, Ryan Bowers, and Josh Christopher. That's the starting lineup for Tony Davis. He's in his 13th year at the helm of the Monsoons.
It's Windward at Mayfair, and the professor has his precise keys to victory.
Let's take a look for the visitors, the top-seeded Windward Wildcats. Tangled Up in Blue, yeah, that's the old Bob Dylan song, but we're not talking about Bob Dylan, we're talking about Dylan Andrews, the marvelous sophomore point guard who has the complete skill set. He's got to be big tonight. And then a rite of passage, Kajani Wright, another spectacular sophomore, was on the U.S. National Under-16 team that won a gold medal. He's a special player. And for Mayfair, Dior means luxury. Yeah, the luxury of finding a New York City point guard that winds up at Mayfair High School. That's the transfer, Dior Johnson, who is a really tremendous special talent. And beware of a sudden monsoon. I love that nickname. But this team scores in bunches. They could rain a few threes on you, have an 8-0, 12-2 kind of a run. So beware of the sudden monsoon.
Well, the Monsoons are in white. Josh Christopher in the center circle. Windward in the blue. Kajani Wright jumping. And the shorter Christopher wins the tap. The 3 balls up and in beautifully for Elijah Shahid.
He was the 6th man last year, but he's had a ton of playing experience on that team that wound up being the 2AA champ, and he can shoot. He's close to a 40% shooter from distance.
Andrews, whistle sounds.
Got a foul on Bowers. Bowers is a football player. He's a banger, and that's what he likes to do.
Foul was away from the ball. That 3 ball would have counted. Tillis on the baseline. Another whistle.
another football player foul. They're going to get Marcus Joseph.
Yeah, Marcus Joseph is a behemoth of a man. 280-pound senior, wears number 32 for Windward. The defensive MVP in 8-man football. He is terrific as a football player and physical on the hardwood.
Yeah, he's not a football player playing basketball. He's a basketball player who just happens to be better at football.
Bowers all the way, rejected by Wright, and fly swatted out of bounds.
If you haven't seen Kajani Wright play, Randy and I both think the world of this young man, and he has the complete skill set. Only a sophomore, he's going to be special.
The 3 ball for Dior Johnson. Speaking of special, he's from New York. He's going to play his college basketball at Syracuse. He's already committed. He's only a sophomore.
Well, he is a terrific find for Coach Davis. He came out of Findlay Prep, which shut their doors.
Joseph with the left-hand finish, the first 2 for Windward.
What I like about Joseph is he's got really soft hands and very quick feet. And when you put that on a 6'4", 280-pound frame, he can do some damage.
Some miscommunication there on the part of Johnson and Duaney. And they turn it over, and here comes Windward and Dylan Andrews, a brilliant sophomore guard. So in Johnson for Mayfair and Andrews for Windward, we have a couple tremendous young guards as Tillis hits the triple. 5 in a row for Windward, and it's 6-5.
And I think this is the way this game's going to be. You will see teams go on runs because they play with such confidence in the offensive end. And they got a variety of people who can put the ball in the basket.
Johnson, so creative. And he'll talk your ear off. Very talkative young guy. Enjoyable to chat with. We had some time with him prior to the game. Christopher is fouled going up. Andrews didn't like the call, either did the coach Colin Pfaff.
Well, Christopher is as good as any high school player I have seen in a long time, maybe since a Stanley Johnson kind of player from modern day, at drawing fouls. He averages close to 9 free throws per contest, and he just has a knack for getting you to lean the wrong way, and then you're off balance, and then he gets you to foul him, and at the very least, he goes to the line.
And he has that soft shooter's touch. His stat line's remarkable. 30 points a game, 11 rebounds, over 4 assists, close to 4 steals a game, a couple blocks per outing. He just does it all. He's 76% at the charity stripe.
Yeah, and a 33% three-point shooter. And if there's one minor flaw in his offensive game is that sometimes he settles for threes, And I think sometimes a better percentage play is to make those ridiculous shots that he'll make in traffic, and you'll see some tonight.
Harris on the wing, very solid player. Right down low, Joseph underneath. Andrews cleaning up. Dylan Andrews quick to react to the basketball and then lay it in.
Yeah, Johnson thought he had the rebound, but it slipped out of his hands right into the waiting hands of Andrews, who sticks it in the basket.
Another off-balance jumper by Christopher. Here comes Andrews and a chance for Windward to claim their first lead of the night. Andrews, open look. In and out, and a solid rebound for Josh Christopher. Baseline jumper, offline by Johnson. Into the backcourt, we have a foul on Duaney of Mayfair.
You saw the degree of leaping ability from Wright. He was sandwiched between two Mayfair players who got up pretty strong, and Wright was a good half an arm's length above them.
There's our officiating crew, Matthew Dunnigan, Shamar McKenzie, and Matthew Ariano, a very good crew that has worked a lot of Southern Section playoff games. Down low, they look for Wright at 6'8". They swarm him, and he banks it in anyway with the left hand.
Yeah, I don't see how they're going to have any answer for that. I think the double is going to have to come quicker. As soon as he puts it on the floor, you're going to have to run a second defender, and another unforced error against Mayfair.
Johnson was looking for Shaheed. 1 point advantage. There's the head coach here in his 13th year, Tony Davis. We'll chat with him at halftime. Very warm man, very nice gentleman to talk to. And Joseph is having his way down low.
Yes, he is. And Wright is an exceptional passer. In fact, Coach Pfaff told me that Kajani would rather make a pass for a basket than score one himself.
The wing jumper, not close. It's taken by Rodney Guillory, the senior, the 17-year-old senior that has checked in.
I think
they foul underneath.
Yeah, Johnson again with a push.
Good crowd on hand here at Mayfair High School. Yeah, they're the reigning champions. They won a CIF title last year. In low again, Joseph. There's the block, and that's what Josh Christopher can do. He goes end to end and feeds Johnson. That was a spectacular play by Christopher, and Johnson got the easy one.
Exactly right. Gets the block, takes it the length of the court, and a beautiful no-look bounce pass in traffic. I mean, that's why so many big-time universities are looking at Josh Christopher, one of the best unsigned seniors in America.
Second foul on Ryan Bowers as Harris took it strong to the iron.
Yeah, so far Mayfair having all kinds of trouble with the interior defense. When you've got either Wright inside the 5-foot area or Wright up on top, passing it into Joseph with that wide body. So far, Mayfair not exactly sure how to defend that.
Jared Harris at the line. It's a guy that'll take big shots his junior year for Windward. Always defends the best player, the opponent's best player. Tonight there's two of them he could be up against in Johnson and Christopher, and the second one trickles in.
Yeah,
that's a 12-10 lead for Windward.
Jalen's brother. Jalen played on the 2015 5AA champs when they had freshmen Jules Bernard and Sharif O'Neal going along with him. Jalen went to New Mexico, but it didn't work out. Now he's at Casper JC.
Andrews able to deflect it out of bounds. 3:54 left in the opening quarter. 12-10 Windward out in front by 2 on our game of the week for Pacific Surfliner on KDOC.
4 years ago, Donald Trump beat the Democratic establishment. And then he outlasted Democratic insiders in Washington on impeachment, despite his obvious crimes and corruption.
The president is guilty.
Now, if we don't do something different this time around, he'll win again. That's the hard truth. We simply can't afford to nominate another insider or an untested newcomer who doesn't have the experience to beat Trump on the economy. We need to think different. Tom Steyer is a progressive businessman who left his company and is using his time and money to beat big corporations and address climate change. He can expose Donald Trump as a fraud and failure on the economy.
He's running on the economy.
He's running on the idea that Democrats can't grow an economy, are a bunch of socialists, you can't afford to vote for him. My job is to take on Mr. Trump and kick his ass on the economy. I'm Tom Steyer, and I approve this message.
Well, Mayfair jumped to an early 6-0 lead, and you can see that it's 12-10 as Windward has battled back. And tonight's Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC TV is brought to you by Amtrak Pacific Surfliner. Travel by train to Southern California's top destinations. Book today at PacificSurfliner.com. Good pace to this first quarter.
Yes, and both teams want to get up and down. Sometimes in the games I've seen from Mayfair, they can get in spurts where they have some questionable shot selection, but that hasn't been so bad so far tonight. And so if they play, slightly less than full speed and play under control, I think they can stay with the top seed.
In for Mayfair, number 20 to inbound it, DJ Brown. And this is Dior Johnson. He's the setup guy. Christopher looking to go one-on-one against Andrews and shoots over him. Solid rebound by Tillis. Right with the pass to Andrews. Harris open look. That's a great job of boxing out by Johnson. And I almost got my first souvenir. Well, my hands aren't what they used to be.
Well, it was a blind pass. It was a no-look pass, but you were open for three, and I would have put my money on you making it.
Well, I kind of stopped it. 2-point game. Mayfair, a 2 for a tie, a 3 for the advantage. Johnson with the fadeaway. And here's Harris going back for Windward.
Windward doing a great job on the defensive glass. I don't think there's been any second chance opportunities for Mayfair. That will be a challenge tonight because they're a little bit undersized against Windward.
Christopher, tight defense on Andrews. But again, they pour it inside, and it's easy for Johnny Wright.
Pretty no-look pass from Andrews. Coach Pfaff told me that Dylan's getting better at his decision-making literally every game he feels. His game management getting so much better.
And Mayfair settling for the long-range shots. Harris on the wing, back inside beautifully to Andrews.
Yeah, they beat him down the floor again, and even if it hasn't been a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 kind of a thing, getting early offense, and that's posing a problem for Mayfair.
Again, the 3-ball from downtown, no good from Shaheed. Long look ahead, and leaking out was right. You'll never see him miss that dunk, but you saw it tonight on KDOC. That one's deflected out of bounds, and the pace is run and gun.
Oh, yeah, I think they made the wrong call there. Yeah, they're going to change that. That was clearly off a deflection by Windward, so it'll stay with Mayfair. But, yeah, take a good look at that, folks, because in his life, you'll never see Kajani Wright do that again.
Christopher trying to get the foul call against Shapiro. Fires it up, and there's Wright grabbing the rebound.
And that may be the worst thing to happen for Mayfair is that Kajani Wright missed a dunk and kind of embarrassed himself a little bit. That might fire him up.
Out of the corner, Shapiro misses, and a solid rebound for DJ Brown. Mayfair doesn't waste any time, and that's up and in. Johnson with a tough shot and a great make. Here's Harris, and he's rejected by Christopher, and that got the crowd into it.
As it should. I mean, he's shown us his skill set a couple of different times here tonight. That's his second spectacular block. Last one, he took the ball and went end-to-end and made the pretty no-look pass for an easy one, but Josh Christopher has everything you want in a basketball player.
Right in the paint, puts it up over the iron, but Andrews on the weak side was not boxed off the glass.
How did Shaheed not grab that?
Joseph puts it back in, and the big fellas for Windward are getting the job done.
Yeah, that time it was more lucky than good. Didn't anticipate an air ball, but there was nobody over on the other side of the hoop. Easiest basket that Joseph will get tonight.
Late first quarter action, quarterfinal playoff game, and an up and down. That's a turnover, a travel against DJ Brown of Mayfair. The Monsoons turn it over.
Mayfair getting away from their strength. I mean, it's obvious the two guys, Johnson and Christopher, do 75% of the scoring. You want other guys to contribute, but within the offense, if they get one off a nice pass from a double team, Johnson or Christopher, that's one thing. But to shoot it early in the shot clock, probe the defense a little bit.
And some of the shots, their selection has been questionable, to say the least.
That's what I saw in some of the tape.
Tillis. He comes up empty, but there's Marcus Joseph battling, and you can see him power up. Strong young man, 6'4", 280 pounds.
Oh, he just moved his opposite number clean out of the way.
Great look inside. It was deflected. It'll stay at that end. It was a no-look pass to Dewaney. And Christopher with a bullet there. Boy, he can throw it around the lot too, can't he?
Well, I asked Coach Davis, I said, with two elite scorers like you have, do the guys get caught kind of standing and watching? He said, yeah, that's something that they've tried to work on to make sure these guys present themselves to the passer.
Pierre Johnson is filling it up in the opening quarter. He's scoring for the Monsoons. His team is down 6. Final shot time for Windward. A good quarter for the top-seeded Wildcats.
But as bad a stretch as Mayfair had, where they didn't make a basket for about 2.5 minutes, if they get a stop here, they're only down 6 after 1. Not so bad.
Tillis is committed to Nevada, Las Vegas, in the corner. Joseph, Hopper, who's checked in, he puts it up. Too strong. Rebound just over the iron, but a good follow by Tillis. And again, numerous opportunities for the Wildcats of Windward, who lead after the first 8 minutes, 20-14. So they look very good. Remember, they fell behind 6-0, and they lead by 6 after 1 on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC.
Hi, Wingstop.
Thanks.
Tonight, turn it up with 11 flavors so intense your dinner won't know what hit it, and neither will you. When the dinner craving hits, Wingstop delivers. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Experience Angels baseball and cheer on your favorite Halos, including the reigning American League MVP, Mike Trout. Enjoy unique giveaways, family-friendly events, exciting opponents, and more. Tickets start as low as $10 per seat per game. Call 714-4ANGELS or visit angels.com to purchase your tickets today.
Seinfeld, tonight at 11 on KDOC TV, Los Angeles.
The CIF Southern Section 4 Division I Championships on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC are brought to you by Amtrak Pacific Surfliner. Need a getaway? Getting there's half the fun when you travel by train. Visit PacificSurfliner.com. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyotathon is on. Get incredible year-end savings on a reliable new Toyota. Entertaining first quarter. And the visiting Wildcats have the ball and a 6-point lead as we begin the second stanza.
Mayfair switched into a 2-3 zone, which Coach Davis said they would use on occasion. He prefers to be a straight man defense, but he said whatever it takes to win.
Joseph, again a strong move drawing the foul. Marcus Joseph has been a major factor in this first half.
Yeah, and this should never happen. As soon as he puts it on the floor, especially with his back to the basket, they've got to run a second defender at it, make him pick that thing up. Because with that size, if he gets you locked on his hip and his ability to spin in either direction, well, you're at his mercy. So as soon as he puts it on the floor, you've got to come.
Windward has playoff victories over Loyola and Cypress. Marcus Joseph had a double-digit outing against Loyola in the tournament.
On his way to Lafayette in Pennsylvania, not Louisiana Lafayette, but Lafayette in Pennsylvania to play Division II football.
Again, he's an outstanding defensive lineman. Well, not close for Shaheed, who hit his first three but has been quiet since. Tillis from downtown.
Such a good player, does everything well, and is sort of under the radar. I think really under-recruited. A really good get for UNLV. I think he's a Pac-12 caliber player.
Christopher misses. Joseph able to claim the rebound, and here come the Wildcats. Andrews with a pretty move in the paint.
Oh, everything but the finish.
Monsoons need a basket. They're down here by 11.
Time for Christopher maybe to get one.
Shaheed from out in front. Good rebound by Dwayne, but he threw it away.
Everybody but Christopher seems to be shooting the basketball in the last few minutes for Mayfair. And I'd have to think they'd run something specific to get Josh a good look, even if he ends up getting double teamed. Sometimes he's good at passing it and then getting it back, which is the best way to attack a double team.
Number 2, Nick Adamora in, a sophomore 15-year-old guard who plays football. There's 3 football players on the Monsoons. Here's a tip and a steal. Here comes Johnson all the way. And the finger roll for 2, Dior Johnson.
Oh, they needed that in the worst way. They aren't getting anything out of the half-court sets. To get a steal and a run-out might relax the Monsoons a little bit. Adamora's brother, Chris, an outstanding football player who's at Texas now.
Hopper open look. Rebound easy for Kajani Wright.
They're killing him in the paint. Points in the paint for Windward. It's got to be, they got to be 10 plus in that area here in the first quarter and a half.
And you talked about it. Windward was on the bubble to make the open division. There's Wright again, strong off the window.
Yeah, kind of a bit of a stunning loss for Windward to Brentwood. Kind of took them out of open division consideration.
Wright knocked down Christopher. Offensive foul on Kajani, so the ball goes back to the Monsoons.
Well, a little embellishment, but nonetheless a needless elbow from Wright. There was nothing happening that he needed to clear out for, and the ref's on top of it. But Mayfair, every time I watch them play, they have these situations where they'll go 3-4 minutes and look, just rather pedestrian offensively, and then suddenly they'll get hot and they'll hit 3, 4, 5 in a row and get on one of those 8-0 runs, and they need one now.
Well, Johnson averages 23. Christopher averages 30. Christopher for the 3 ball, and he's fouled by Andrews. So Josh is going to the line to shoot a trio of charities.
One thing I've seen Christopher do many times is an NBA kind of move where if a defender is in his face when he elevates for the 3, he will kick one of his feet straight out, which is going to draw some contact. Now, who initiated the contact? Well, that's open for debate. But I've seen him draw more 3-shot fouls by doing exactly that. It's very subtle, but that's what Coach Pfaff was up complaining about immediately. It was that Christopher is the one who kicked his foot out. Watch here. Watch his feet. And he just sort of slides them under the defender and then goes to the ground. He's very good at that.
Mayfair coming off a 66-65 victory over Beverly Hills. That was a game they trailed 10-0.
Oh,
Christopher had 22 points. So did Johnson in the very, very tight win.
Well, Beverly Hills' best player missed 2 free throws with 2 seconds to go, or maybe, we'd be somewhere else tonight.
Colin Pfaff, 88-32, fourth years, had a splendid track record at Windward, and boy, is he built for the future with Andrews and Wright just being sophomores. It's going to be a terrific team in years to come.
Yeah, Harris, Richard, they've got a lot coming back.
Wright double teamed. Tillis for 3. Johnson going strong to the hole. Oh, that was smooth, and another finger roll finish for Dior Johnson.
Very clever with the scoop, because the shot blocker was armed and ready to snuff that one, and Johnson with a street-like move to get it up and under.
He told me he was so excited to play this quarterfinal game. Could not wait for the start of this contest, and Dior Johnson is up to the task for the Soons.
Good ball movement by Windward this time.
Andrews kicking it out to Harris. 5 on the shot clock, so he's forced to put it up and drills the 3 ball, the money ball. Beautiful shot from downtown from Jaron Harris.
Boy, and the Mayfair defense was excellent on that sequence, and sometimes you just got to tip your cap because Harris made a tough shot.
Christopher for the answer. That's why he's a McDonald's All-American.
Oh. If he starts making those, that's about the only thing that you can sort of give him because he's so good at driving to the basket and drawing contact. If he starts making the 3, then you got to go out there on him, and you've created a situation where he could get 40.
Shapiro, who likes that corner shot. Lob, can't stop that. Beautiful pass. Harris to right. That was pretty.
Yeah, one of the ways to beat a 2-3 zone if you've got a leaper on that baseline is throw it up and a diagonal pass up and over the top.
How about that roll for Dior Johnson? He gets the 3 ball. And Mayfair, with the long-range shots starting to fall, have closed to within 5.
And they've got the right guys shooting them after a little bit of a stretch where maybe the wrong guys were shooting them.
Harris came up empty. This foul's going against Windward.
Wow.
Under 4. In fact, we're closing on 3 minutes left in the half. We'll take a break. It's been exciting, and it's a Windward lead of 5.
Meet the first ever Mazda CX-30. Feel alive.
And then he went into the kitchen, slowly opened the refrigerator, and it was empty. So then the man, weak with hunger, raced from the refrigerator to the counter to look for a delivery menu. But all he could find was one for a vegan place!
Vegan places aren't real, right?
No, they're not real. Or are they? Ah, salad! Ah!
Family Guy, tonight at 10 on KDOC TV Los Angeles.
Tonight's Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC TV is presented by Wingstop. Open late, order online at wingstop.com. Terrific sports heritage here.
Yeah,
at Mayfair.
Exactly right. I mean, in a lot of different sports. Of course, Josh Childress, the 22, an exceptional basketball player that had a nice career in the NBA, was, I think, the 6th guy picked in the draft, if I remember right, by the Hawks, and had a nice career. And that's Justin Turner, of course, the Dodger, who's sort of had a rebirth with the Dodgers after what they thought maybe was the end of his career when he was playing for the Mets. And then, of course, Alteron Werner, exceptional defensive back who played for UCLA and then the Tennessee Titans in the NFL.
And, of course, Justin Turner's been in the news of late, having some thoughts about the Houston Astros situation on cheating. And Justin, rightfully so, has been outspoken about what the commissioner said. Johnson falling down and walked.
Yeah, unfortunate because he was on his way to creating something and just lost his footing.
Again, I love his excitement, his exuberance, this Dior Johnson, for the game. Just a 10th grader. By the way, he's very tight friends with Bronny James. They played AAU ball together.
Well, Johnson is the type of guy who, by the time he's a senior, he's going to be one of the most, highly sought-after guys. I know he has declared his intention to go to Syracuse, but when you're a sophomore, that means absolutely nothing. And so, we'll see. We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of people knocking on the door by the time he's a senior.
I would agree with that. As you look at Tony Davis, 2 CIF championships, including last year.
Mikhail English in the game for Windward, number 1.
Tillis on the wing. Mayfair looking to push it. They want a fast tempo. The trailer is Christopher, and he banked it in. And he has the clenched fist going back down the other way and a smile, knowing he missed it bad enough. But it went in off the window.
And Johnson created the whole thing by skying for the rebound, and then those 2 guys can take it end-to-end anytime they get a defensive rebound. And then he knew who was coming behind him.
The lead has been shaved to 2. Harris thought about the 3-ball.
It's the 2-3 zone that has really perplexed Windward.
Yeah, they're not hitting from the perimeter. Mayfair back the other way. Christopher back to the iron, no good. And English lost the handle. Inside of 2 minutes to play, opening half. Johnson, yes.
Oh. He's got that New York City handle. He was dribbling himself into trouble, and then a little hesitation goes between his legs, gets by the defender, and then the 15-footer. He is something.
Wildcats take a timeout. Mayfair, once down 11, has wiped out the deficit with 1:33 to play before intermission. Windward, you're right, that zone has really bothered them, and they stopped getting the points inside, so that zone has taken that down low post play away from the Wildcats.
No, agreed. Let's take a look at the top half of the Division I playoff bracket. Windward was the top seed and a win over Cyprus, while Mayfair, with that 1-point thriller over Beverly Hills, as we talked about, puts them in the quarterfinal. But on the other half of this half of the bracket, you've got the Bishop Montgomery, always a dangerous team. They didn't have all their guys the first 20 games of the season. Now they're healthy and a team to watch out for. Doug Mitchell, one of the best coaches around. And then Jay Serra, they too didn't have all their guys. Randy, we know that from a game we had against Mater Dei. But once Jay Serra got Ian Martinez back, it makes them a whole lot better.
Yeah, Martinez had a huge output in their last playoff victory. So Ian Martinez, much different player, who gives Jay Serra some scoring ability.
Oh, that's
Joseph,
offensive foul.
You're right. He just put his shoulder down and knocked down Christopher.
Well, that's the first time that I've seen Windward attack the 2-3 zone. There's a handful of ways that are just sort of the way to attack a 2-3. One of them being put somebody at the high post. If you can enter the ball into that free throw line area, you can get a lot done. And they had everything going except Joseph got a little excited, didn't need to clear out with that elbow. He probably would have had a 3 or 4 footer off the glass had he just, rose up and shot it.
Picked up his second foul with that charge. He's replaced by Brandon Richard, who has started at times, a real blue-collar hard worker. High motor, can't miss him, number 21. He has glasses. He's a very solid player. Does not have the muscle, though, that Joseph provides. Game is knotted at 32. Christopher looking to go to work. Scissoring down inside, and there is the man we were just talking about, Brandon Richard, with the rebound.
Yeah, Richard's a really good rebounder. He's the kind of guy who rebounds out of his area, which means he'll go and get it.
Right inside. And the putback by Richard. Wright tips it in. Boy, could Johnny Wright staying with it. Give Richard credit, though. He kept it alive.
Yeah, that's probably the first time since early in the ballgame that we've seen the Windward size take advantage of that. They just played volleyball with it till it went in.
Johnson stopping and popping. Oh, what a move. Mikhail English had his ankles broken on that one. They love it here.
Oh, man, right off the streets of NYC with that one. He had his defender on skates and then the ability to stop on a dime and shoot that soft jumper. Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. Last shot time for Windward.
Final 10 seconds. English back outside to Harris. Fans really have come alive here at the gymnasium on the Mayfair campus. Tillis for the lead at the break. It's out of bounds. Half is over. Windward led most of the first half, but Dior Johnson with some spectacular playground basketball. And this shot, this 3-ball, has given Mayfair a 1-point lead at the break on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC.
Hi, Wingstop.
Thanks.
Tonight, turn it up with 11 flavors so intense your dinner won't know what hit it, and neither will you. When the dinner craving hits, Wingstop delivers. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Really, I don't need all the hoopla.
What do you mean?
You know the cars that drive like 1,000,000 miles an hour?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, beautiful winding roads.
Oh, never another car in sight.
Yeah, just give me a car that looks good, drives great, and is reliable as the day is long.
Yeah, and just give people the numbers on it, plain and simple.
Exactly. That's all I need.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah, this is great. It's not complicated. Yeah, I like that Toyota.
We make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
Del Taco introduces the world's greatest value menu with 15 items and prices as low as 69 cents, plus new fresh options. The new Del's Dollar Deals menu. The most options, the freshest choices, the lowest prices. That's fresh as Del.
You okay? You guys okay?
Great seats.
Yeah, it's a whole different game when you sit down here.
Family Guy, tonight at 10 on KDOC TV, Los Angeles.
Experience Angels baseball and cheer on your favorite Halos, including the reigning American League MVP, Mike Trout. Enjoy unique giveaways, family-friendly events, exciting opponents, and more. Tickets start as low as $10 per seat per game. Call 714-4ANGELS or visit angels.com to purchase your tickets today.
We're back at Mayfair High School on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week. This is the Ford Southern Section Basketball Playoffs. I'm Paul Westphal. Alongside me is Randy Rosenblum. It's the underdog Mayfair that leads the top seed, Windward 35-34 at the intermission. And earlier today, our Randy Rosenblum had a chance to talk with the very successful head man at Windward High School.
There's nothing lucky about year number 13 for Tony Davis. Always successful here at Mayfair. Now, I was a little disappointed. I expected to meet the Lakers' Anthony Davis. You are Anthony Davis, right?
I am. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I wish I was a foot taller. I wouldn't be in this situation. I might actually be still playing.
But I understand that you had a story that you were kind of confused for the other Anthony Davis.
About 7-8 years ago at the Wooden Awards, there was a pass for me and the other Anthony Davis, and the organizers thought I was the 7-foot Anthony Davis. Calipari walked in and said, no, that's the wrong one. Otherwise, I would be out of a job.
Okay, that's awesome stuff. You've done a great job here. You've won a couple CIF championships in 2012 and last year, 2019. What are the common denominators with this current team that's making a drive for a title and your previous championship squads?
Talented leaders, veteran leaders, and overall togetherness with the team.
Joshua Christopher, better known as just Josh around these parts. What makes him special?
His ability to do everything on the floor, offensively, defensively, and then you throw in his IQ, and then just his competitive nature is unlike anything else I've ever had the chance to coach.
Your other star is Dior Johnson. He's just a baby, a sophomore, obviously very skilled.
Very skilled, probably the most skilled sophomore point guard in the country. The way he can see the floor, 1, 2, 3, 4 passes in advance of the play, I haven't seen anything like it. And then his ability to score and create makes him just a special player.
Tony, is it tough to coach a group that has two great stars, and candidly there's a little bit of a drop-off after those two, for everyone else to buy in, knowing that those two guys are so good?
Overall, it hasn't been. The two guys have been great leaders. At times, it is difficult for the other kids, but overall, as the season's gone on, everybody has kind of settled into their roles a little bit, and we're just trying to get the ball and keep the ball rolling.
Coach, congratulations on a terrific playoff run.
Thank you.
And thanks to Tony Davis, and of course that's the head man at Mayfair High School, and this, I'll warn you ahead of time, all you out there, this is what happens when you get old. We're at halftime where Mayfair leads Windward 35-34, and it has been as wild a game as we expected, with shots made from all over the court. And we'll be back with more highlights, stats, and analysis on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC when we return.
Room for 7, and much, much more. The first ever GLB. Lease the GLB 250 SUV for just $419 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Wherever we want to go, we just have to start. Auto save your way there with Chase. Chase, make more of what's yours.
American Ballet Theater comes to Segerstrom Center for the Arts in Costa Mesa March 5th through 8th with a world premiere by choreographer Alexei Ratmansky of Love and Rage. A tale of star-crossed lovers on an epic journey across the ancient world. Of Love and Rage features spectacular sets and costumes, a score performed live by the Pacific Symphony, and ABT's superstar dancers. Order your tickets for the world premiere of American Ballet Theater's Of Love and Rage at scfta.org.
This is the Chevy Silverado with the world's first invisible trailer.
Invisible trailer?
Hop in. Silverado offers an optional technology package with up to 15 different views, including one enhanced view that makes your trailer appear invisible. Wow.
That's pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Where's the trailer though?
Or during the President's Day Chevy Drive event, current qualified Silverado lessees can lease this Silverado for around $239 per month or get 0% financing for 72 months on all 2020 Silverados. Hurry into your Southern California Chevy dealers.
Yeah, I'm here for the audition.
Which audition? The music video, the horror movie, the exercise tape, or the infomercial?
Yeah. Well.
Seinfeld, tonight at 11 on KDOC TV, Los Angeles.
Quarterfinal action, Division I, and you can see Mayfair at halftime has a 1-point lead with the Professor. I'm Randy Rosenblum. Interesting first half. Dior Johnson was spectacular with 21 points. He hit a 3 to give his club the 1-point advantage at the break. But, Professor, I thought it was the defense, the 2-3 zone that turned it around. Early on, Windward was dominating inside.
Yeah, a number of angles to look at here in a very entertaining first half. The first quarter, Windward was getting every shot they wanted in the half court. A lot of shots coming from point-blank range. And then once down 11, Tony Davis of Mayfair changed to that 2-3 zone that you referenced, and their defensive intensity just got about 10 times higher. And so suddenly Windward was having trouble getting any kind of a shot, and then they missed a couple of open threes. Mayfair got the rebound, and they survived without a spectacular first half from a spectacular player in Josh Christopher. I mean, he's the type of guy who can get you 20 and a half, and they're still up by 1, and he didn't play his best basketball. So danger time for Windward.
Yeah, he banked in a 3. He did finish with 11 points in the first half, but remember, Josh averages 30 a night. It was Dior Johnson that picked up the slack, who averages 23 per game. He had 21 in the first half. And on the other side, Marcus Joseph had 10, and so did Kajani Wright. Here are the leading scores. No great surprises that the points came from inside from Wright and Joseph.
No, but a lot of those came very early, and then once the defense changed, then suddenly Windward wasn't able to get exactly what they probably designed with their size advantage. But I think if they can just hit a couple of threes, if Andrews, Hopper, Harris, those guys, if they can make some from outside, it'll stretch that 2-3 zone out a little bit, maybe create some driving lanes for Windward's talented athletes. But defensively, I would be worried that Josh Christopher has only 11. He could have 31 by the time we're done.
By the end of the third quarter, that's how explosive he is. It's going to be a very interesting ride to the finish line. Top-ranked Windward on the road, down by 1 to upstart Mayfair, 35-34. Stay with us for the second half. It should be a beauty on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC.
Room for 7 and much, much more. The first ever GLB.
We all went to Mars. Really?
It's Universal!
Running to Hogwarts, running to Hogwarts.
Come join us at Universal Studios Hollywood and save up to $60 on an annual pass online.
The CIF Southern Section Ford D1 Division Championship on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC is brought to you by Amtrak Pacific Surfliner. Need a getaway? Getting there's half the fun when you travel by train. Visit PacificSurfliner.com. And by Wingstop. Open late, order online at wingstop.com. Paul Westphal, you are the professor. Break down what you expect to see in this, the third quarter.
Well, if Mayfair stays in the zone, I would expect to see Windward try to put somebody on the high post. They've got very good passing big men, whether it's Wright or it's Richard, down low to either Wright or Joseph, and see if they can expose that 2-3 zone. And then if you can't, then you're going to have to reverse the basketball a little bit, try to get that zone moving their feet. If you get a 2-3 zone moving back and forth a couple of times through ball reversal, you oftentimes can get an open wing jumper, but you have to make them. But if you're Mayfair, I thought their shot selection got so much better in the last 6 minutes of the second quarter, and that was because, for the most part, Johnson and Christopher were taking the shots. Now, it would be nice to get contributions from the others, but this is winning time. And so if your two best players have to take 75% of the shots, well, so be it.
It is one and done in the Division I tournament. It's not like the Open where you're in pool play and you can live with a loss. Not at the D1 level. Ball inbounded to Dior Johnson again. 21 first exciting points. Oh, was he magnificent.
He was, and yet he still got his teammates involved. I mean, sometimes they didn't make the shot, so he didn't get the assist, but he has been the best player on the floor so far.
Christopher and Johnson have said that it has been a joy to play together, that they've had so much fun this year. They play with that joy. The drive, and
wow,
the ball's lost.
Wow.
Johnson was tied up and hit by Wright. No call.
Wow. That's a play on.
Well, an early opportunity in the third quarter for Windward to get the lead.
Once again in that zone defense.
Tillis is the zone breaker.
Yeah.
He's the veteran, Devin Tillis, again on his way to Nevada, Las Vegas.
Well, that time I didn't think Duaney needed to come out to the wing. It didn't look like the Windward player on the wing was going to shoot it, and he drifted away from the corner, and a quick pass to Tillis, who had his feet set.
Deep three fails, and here comes Harris the other way. The reverse layup. Beautiful board by Bowers, who's playing under the weather tonight. All the way, the drive by Christopher. Josh Christopher weaving through traffic.
So strong with the upper body. If you don't stop him by the top of the three-point arc, he's getting all the way to the rim.
Right, double teamed, had it deflected away, and now it's stolen. Beautiful play by Duaney. And because of it, an easy basket for Dior Johnson, who's up to 23.
One of the few live ball turnovers that has resulted in a run out, and Mayfair the beneficiary of some good defense on Wright. They collapsed on him. A couple times in the first half they were slow with the double team. That time they got three guys at him.
The three ball out of the corner by Andrews. Oh, is he smooth.
Well, that's the thing I was hoping, if you're a Windward fan, you're hoping to see, because he is a pure, a certain three-level scorer.
Christopher nearly banked in another one. Windward with the ball in the 1-point lead, 2 minutes into the second half. And again, they worked inside, and Joseph missed a bunny.
Yeah, they got exactly the shot they wanted. He made all of those in the first half. That was just an unfortunate break for Windward.
Dior Johnson had a good look, even though he shot it off the back foot. Still a 1-point lead for the Wildcats. Andrews weaving through traffic. Tillis again on the side, comes underneath, lays it up, and blew the layup.
Goodness gracious. Great decision by Andrews not to shoot it. And then Tillis with the up fake got exactly what he wanted, just shot a little hard off the glass.
In the lane, that's easy for Josh Christopher. 41-40, a quick timeout called. Monsoons by one, Christopher up to 15.
Right.
Johnson with 23.
Yeah, 4 quick points for Christopher, which is does not bode well for Windward, because Christopher's the kind of guy who can get you 15 points in a quarter. And it looks like he's a little bit more relaxed. In the early going, he looked a little tight. And some of those shots that he normally makes just were a little bit off, but he looks like he's in full gear now, and that's danger time if you're Windward. But Windward has got really good shots on every one of their possessions here except for the live ball turnover. They've just missed a couple of point-blank shots.
Windward is the runner-up team of the Gold Coast League, the Sierra Canyon, of course, the top-ranked team in the Open Division. Mayfair, the Monsoons, have dominated the Suburban League for the last few years. In fact, since Josh Christopher's been here for 4 seasons, they've won the Suburban League all 4 years and only lost 2 games. I guess you could call him the Suburban Superstar.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, he was good as a freshman. I mean, really good. And so you knew it was just going to get better.
Slapped away. And they're doing a good job of denying the inside again. Oh, he nearly dunked it, Christopher. That one is tipped out of bounds. It'll be retained by the Monsoons.
But a nice job by Wright to challenge that. Had he just sat there, he would have dunked it on his head.
Johnson going to work on the baseline. Threw up that air ball, and here comes Windward. Tillis, no one guarding him.
Oh, I think if he had to do that all over again, he would have passed it to Wright, who was deep at good position. Then I think a frustration foul, I think, by Tillis. A rare display of kind of losing his cool. You'll see it again here. He chases down the miss, and I think he felt bad that he missed his teammate Wright in the open underneath the basket, and that's just a pure frustration foul by Tillis, and that you just won't see that very much. And of course, no harm done there. Everybody got up, and you can see now that it's quarterfinal action in a lose or go home kind of situation. These teams are ramping up the intensity a bit.
Jake Shapiro, 6'1" junior, is checked in, a very skilled player. This one looked worse than it really was.
Yeah.
And I like what the coach is doing here for the Wildcats. He gets Shapiro out, that gives him another shooter to work against the zone.
They're taking some time to take care of the perspiration on the floor. That gives everybody a chance to collect themselves a little bit.
Fun game so far. 1 point game, up and down.
No doubt. A little backcourt pressure, but just token pressure.
And a lot at stake. And Joseph.
Oh, goodness. They're going to call Tillis for bumping Christopher in the open court.
I was going to say Joseph is going to come out there and greet him. He's too big. And Tillis did get the bump, the grind, and the foul on Christopher.
Second foul on Tillis in a matter of seconds. And now Shapiro is going to get a foul for bodying up on Johnson. And Coach Pfaff over here at the Windward sideline believes that right now the Monsoons are embellishing this contact just a touch.
3 fouls in the quarter already on Windward. That's a nice drive, but missing the layup inside was Adamora. Christopher with a near takeaway from Andrews.
Oh, good pass.
That's a smart foul, though, by Johnson holding on to Wright, or he would have dunked it.
That shows you superb point guard skills. I'm not sure how Andrews even saw him, but he makes the blind pass over his head to the waiting Wright, who had to get fouled or it would have been a dunk.
Shapiro out of the corner. Joseph. 2-on-2 break. Johnson all the way. Yes.
Offensive
foul. Yep. They take away the basket. Dior doesn't like the call. He is hollering at Shamar McKenzie, the official who made the call.
We'll get a good look at it here. It looks to me like Tillis is sliding a bit, so Johnson's got a case there. And Windward, after getting a couple of tough calls in the open court recently against them, get one that goes their way, but I think that's a block. Watch, you can see Tillis doesn't even have both feet on the ground. He's moving his feet constantly through the play. That's a block, and that's a tough call, but that's a hard one for Mayfair to swallow.
Especially since the ball went in. It could have been a three-point play the other way.
And I believe that's the third foul on Johnson.
Terrific defensive play by Josh Christopher to knock it away. There's a wonderful look. The layup for Adamora. But Johnson with a brilliant pocket pass.
Oh, just the no look to the waiting Adamora. That's what elite point guards can do in the open court. And now Mayfair back in that 2-3 zone, but they have a player, Andrews, in the right spot at the high post.
And again, out of that 2-3 zone. Andrews tried to fire away and miss from downtown.
And you can get that any time in the shot clock. You don't have to settle for that early like they did.
Shaheed had a good look. That was good half-court offense, just didn't hit the shot. Andrews pass deflected again by Josh Christopher. Boy, he's got quick hands defensively. 3 minutes and change remaining in the third quarter. Run and gun basketball. Beautiful dish there. Johnson to Adamora. It's a 3-point lead for the home side.
Hi, Wingstop.
Thanks.
Tonight, turn it up with 11 flavors so intense your dinner won't know what hit it. And neither will you. When the dinner craving hits, Wingstop delivers. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Experience Angels baseball and cheer on your favorite Halos, including the reigning American League MVP, Mike Trout. Enjoy unique giveaways, family-friendly events, exciting opponents, and more. Tickets start as low as $10 per seat per game. Call 714-4-ANGELS or visit angels.com to purchase your tickets today.
Chris, what are you doing? Saving our lives. I wish he hadn't said that. Now I'm kind of rooting against him.
Family Guy, tonight at 10 on KDOC-TV, Los Angeles.
Quite a battle here. Mayfair, the number 8 seed, up by 3. Late in the third quarter. And tonight's game is brought to you by Pacific Surfliner. It's the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC-TV, driven by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. 43-40. Another game that we just got a final on. Jay Serra over Bishop Montgomery, 61-59. It is nice to have Ian Martinez back. Inside Joseph for 2. He has a dozen on the night.
Wonderful execution of the play called by Coach Pfaff. As once again, I've been talking about this against the 2-3 zone. If you can make the pass to the free throw line, it has officially broken down that zone. And then if you've got somebody that you can go high-low to, like a Joseph, that was beautiful execution, perfectly run. They got the easy one they wanted.
Christopher offline. Windward with a chance to take the lead.
Do it again if they're going to. Yeah, you go. That's perfect. Oh. And Tillis kind of fumbled it a little bit.
Andrews penetrating and scoring. Beautiful shot by the sophomore. He's a great one, just a 17-year-old, 6'3" sophomore, Dylan Andrews.
But such calm play orchestrated by Tillis. If you get that pass into him, you can see the defense broke down a little bit on the rest of the play, and we're going to get a tripping foul. Let's see who they call that on.
Yeah, Dior Johnson again forcing the action.
They're going to get it on Joseph.
That's 3 on Marcus Joseph.
Indeed, and Shapiro out and Harris back in. Harris had done a nice job on Christopher for the majority of the first half. Anytime you can hold Josh to 11, we'll take a look at the trip here. Yeah, and Joseph stuck his leg out. That's a very good call. He was standing in a stationary position, but you can't stick your leg out.
Colin Pfaff is funny. He's asking the officials because he didn't agree with the call to look at the monitor.
No, can't do that at this level.
That's not going to happen. Johnson. Rebound. Andrews showing his leaping ability. Terrific feed to right, but he kicked it and lost it. And Dior coming back the other way. Adamora.
That's tough one for Nick at 5'9" to challenge a guy a foot taller.
Tillis draws the foul. It looked like Guillory got him with the body, number 15, and it was.
Yeah, good call, Randy. Another stretch where Mayfair's not getting shots from their shot makers. I think they have to get back to where you'd like to see Christopher or Johnson shoot the ball most of the time. And they've had a couple of possessions here where it's been a little bit ragged.
Tillis has been very good in the tournament. He's led them in scoring in both their victories. They had 23 points and 13 rebounds in their latest victory to get here over Cyprus. Devin's a terrific player. As you see Guillory go in and come out. He, by the way, is a transfer, is Guillory from Central City Value, the Jaguars in the LA City section. Played there for a couple years. Tillis with another one, and short with it, but there's Wright. And a terrific steal by Adamora.
Well, Wright made himself smaller by putting it on the floor. He had no place to go with the bounce, just turn around and shoot it.
Shahid came up 1.5 feet short and airballed it.
But you better be strong with the basketball when Nick Adamora is around you. We just saw him strip it from Wright, and he almost got the steal against Richard. If you're going to put it down there where he can get it at 5'9", you can see that the strength in that body. He's going to take it away from you. My guess is his hands are stronger than yours.
Again, the deep ball dropping in the third quarter. Jaron Harris from downtown. And Windward up by 5.
A little bit of danger time for Mayfair here.
Open look. Claybrooks missed. James Claybrooks. He's a transfer from St. Anthony's. By the way, Mater Dei tonight knocked off Rancho Christian. Devin Askew had 43. The Kentucky commit for Mater Dei.
Oh, and they're going to get Wright for a shove.
How about Devin Askew tonight? 43 points. And what about Mater Dei in the tournament in the Open Division? 2-0 wins at Centennial and Rancho Christian. That is tremendous for Gary McKnight's team.
Exactly, and that comes from being a championship team with a championship pedigree and knowing they had to go on the road like they did last year. They were 2-1 on the road last year as a lower seed, and you know, now they've got wins over the number 2 and the number 3 seed. And if Harvard Westlake doesn't beat Centennial tonight, Mater Dei's in from Pool B. So we'll try to keep tabs on that Centennial Harvard Westlake score for you. But it might be all over but the shouting. And the Monarchs with wins over the 2 and 3 seeds on the road, impressive. And of course, we've been extolling the skills of Devin Askew all season long.
Christopher trying to buy a call. There was none. Missed the shot. Final half minute. Third quarter. It's been a good quarter for the visitors from Windward. Baseline jumper Andrews is offline. Hopper gives him a second opportunity. Wrestling for the ball. And we have a timeout taken by the Windward bench.
Good timeout by Coach Pfaff because a basket here, and suddenly you're looking at a 3-possession lead after 3, and considering where they started this quarter, that's a pretty good quarter for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they were down 1, but in a game like this, when they go back and forth, and with the ability of Christopher and Johnson to hit patches where they just go off, leads can evaporate in a hurry.
Yes, they can. If those guys get the shots, that's the shot missed by Christopher there is probably the first shot by either Christopher or Johnson in about the last 5 possessions for Mayfair. They kind of got away from what they do best, and then let's see if they can sort of refocus in the fourth quarter. But it all starts with a stop here on this end. If they can keep the score right where it is, down 5 going into the fourth, I think that Mayfair will feel the game is still in their grasp.
Brandon Richard back out on the court for the team in blue. We're going to work it all the way down. Harris out on top.
If you're Mayfair, you want active hands. Get your hands up, gentlemen.
High post right. And he goes underneath and banks it in. Pretty play by Tajani Wright.
Got to hurry.
It'll count if it goes. Well, Johnson tried it from 60. After 3, Windward outscores Mayfair by 8 in the quarter and builds a 7-point lead going to the fourth quarter. Quarterfinal action in the 4 championships of the CIF Southern Section D1 Division. Windward and Mayfair. It's the Cats by 7 on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC.
Here's the scary truth. It's easy to say beat Trump. It's going to be harder to do. We need someone who has the clout, toughness, and record of getting things done. Mike Bloomberg, who brought a city back after 9/11 and has taken on bully after bully to do what's right. Because the first thing that needs to get done is winning, and that means beating the biggest bully of all. The gloves are off, but the fight is on.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
Del Taco introduces the world's greatest value menu with 15 items and prices as low as 69 cents, plus new fresh options. The new Del's Dollar Deals menu. The most options, the freshest choices, the lowest prices. That's fresh as Del.
What kind of a person are you?
I think I'm pretty much like you, only successful.
Seinfeld, tonight at 11 on KDOC TV, Los Angeles.
The CIF Southern Section 4 Division I Championships on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC is brought to you by Amtrak Pacific Surfliner. Visit PacificSurfliner.com and hug the coast. 50-43, Windward leading by a touchdown.
A tough quarter for Mayfair. Christopher got 4 early points in the quarter and then never scored again, as Mayfair only got 8 points in the third quarter, and that's just not going to get it done. Let's see. It starts with defense, but I think Windward has figured out the 2-3 zone. They've entered the ball into that free throw lane area a number of times in succession, and there it goes again.
Pass deflected and stolen beautifully. That was the sagging zone that forced the turnover.
With active hands. You can't be passive in a zone. Sometimes people think zone defense, you rest a little bit.
That's better ball movement because they had the good look from Claybrooks, but he just didn't hit the jump shot. Supporting cast not making any shots for Johnson and Christopher. And at the other end, Jaron Harris, speaking of supporting cast, they are hitting.
Yes, that's at least his third triple, and now the lead is 10. So I don't want anybody else shooting it. Good pass by
That's
Christopher.
a fabulous pass.
Yeah.
Guillory scored.
Yeah, really good pass by Christopher. I was going to say, Christopher and Johnson should take the scoring load from here on out. Down 8, inside of 7 to play.
Harris again for 3.
Oh, he was feeling it.
But it is a much-needed defensive stop for Mayfair. Johnson, and 1 for Dior Johnson. Oh, he's fun to watch.
He is a remarkably talented player. He's scoring a lot tonight, but it is within the offense. These are not forced shots. Windward wondering where the foul is. Well, the foul is on Andrews because he kind of undercut Johnson that time. And Dior with a chance for the traditional three-point play, which is just what the doctor ordered if you're Coach Tony Davis, because the game was, they were losing contact with Windward there. It got up, I think, to 10 at one point.
Yeah, it was 10. It was 11 in the first half, and they wiped that deficit out. Dior Johnson, when he was 12, was playing with 17-year-old five-star players, and he held his own. Here he is, a little bit older, and he's a five-star performer in his sophomore year. Trying to close it down to a 5-point game, and does.
He was going to go to Findlay Prep, that private school out in Las Vegas, but then Findlay shut their doors, and what a break for Mayfair that he would come and play for Tony Davis. He's been a godsend.
Lead is but 5 with 6.5 minutes to play in regulation. With the Professor Paul Westfall, I'm Randy Rosenblum in Lakewood at Mayfair High School. We call this gym just the fair. It's fun to be here.
Ball is sticking a little bit for Windward. You got to move it a little quicker.
Andrews forcing it up, no good. And a terrific rebound for Josh Christopher.
You better stop him here.
He's going all the way. You do not stop with that guy. He's running downhill. He looked a little like LeBron James there.
I like that. He's got a tremendously strong upper frame, and like I say, if he gets to within a dribble and a long stride like right there, if you don't stop him at the three-point line, it's one more bounce, and then he's on his way to elevate to the rim. And at that point, you can't stop him. So you got to get to him a little earlier than that.
He watched a lot of film of the late, great Kobe Bryant. Met him a few times and was really devastated, as we all were, but specifically Josh Christopher, because he got to meet Kobe, one of his idols, and he looked up to him, and he tries to pattern much of his game after Kobe Bryant. He has 16 on the night. He averages 30 per outing.
Well, he's the reason that Coach Davis took the Monsoons on that national schedule, and they've played some of the best teams in the country. And so when you look at 17-11, you think, well, wow, they're not that good. Well, they've lost some close games. They could easily be 20-8, 21-7 against that national schedule. But Christopher's the reason. Now here comes that 2-2-1 press. Coach Davis said he was going to spring that sometime in the second half. They'll run and jump and see if they can get things a little ragged.
A near steal by Christopher. Inside, getting away with the walk was Brandon Richard, and he laid it in.
Yeah, I think Richard shuffled his feet there, but got away with it, and that's a good press break that time by Windward.
Shahid just can't find it. Hit his first one, but has not been able to knock one down since. We have a foul. This one is going against the host school, going against DJ Brown of Mayfair.
I have a very interesting score for you, courtesy of Jack Pollen, Twitter handle @PollenPreps. It's a final. Harvard-Westlake 68, Centennial 57. So Mater Dei and Westlake will play for all the marbles on Friday.
Well, that could be a prime location for KDOC TV in our Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week. Down low, Marcus Joseph going up strong. And he draws the foul. How about those scores in the Open Division on that side of the bracket? Are you shocked by those results?
No, because everybody's so doggone good. But I will say home court advantage hasn't amounted to a whole lot.
Or seeding, right, which gives you home court advantage. Well, I thought that Dave Rabibo at Harvard-Westlake had a terrific team. And obviously Mater Dei has a lot of talent. We were waiting for them to flex their muscles up front. So Mater Dei and Harvard-Westlake, one of those two teams, is going to get to the CIF Southern Section 4 Championship Final.
Joseph with the soft touch knocks down a couple, and it's not critical yet, but Mayfair's got to stay connected. The lead is 7, and you don't want it to get to double figures.
Inside of 5 minutes to play. Joseph for 3. Boy, that would have been huge had he been able to knock it down. Just a little bit too much juice on that one.
Well, and I mentioned it earlier in the games that I've seen Mayfair play, because Christopher is so good at drawing fouls by taking it to the basket. I think on nights when the 3-ball is going in, that's great. But if it's not, I would think from here on out, Josh might want to just take it into the teeth of the defense and see if he can go to the line.
Guillory with a beautiful defensive effort, deflecting it away, and because of it, Dior Johnson has a layup off the Christopher feed.
Yeah, beautiful job by Christopher. Everybody, I think, in the place thought he was taking it all the way to the rim. He stops one dribble short. Perfect bounce pass to Johnson. Those two work so well together.
The triple for Tillis. Devin Tillis is money. That's a huge 3 for Windward to extend to an 8-point lead.
What an answer from the coach on the floor, Devin Tillis from distance.
He's been so great in the tournament. We featured him on our pregame, and you can see he's pumped up. That was a big-time shot. You know, Paul, I'm really impressed with Windward and their team concept. Get everybody involved. You know, you can't just lay off on one guy. They have 5 players that can hurt you from many spots on the floor.
Yeah, they're really well coached, and they understand that you don't have to make the basket in order to be successful. They have guys that are willing passers, and then with the spacing and the offensive concepts, they understand where to be. This is a team that, like I say, except for that surprising loss to Brentwood in league play, they probably would have found themselves in the Open Division.
You know, we just had a shot of number 10, the redhead, for Windward. Hopper, he reminds me of Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. That's what he looks like.
When we were talking about Devin Tillis, Coach Pfaff told me today on the phone, he said, you know, Tillis has such a grasp of the game of basketball. Sometimes he'll come over to the bench and he'll say, we should run this play because this defender doesn't do this type of thing. And so Colin looks at his assistant coaches and says, what do I need you guys for? Tillis has such a high basketball IQ.
This is a huge trip down the floor for the Monsoons. 17-11, undefeated in the Suburban League. But Tony Davis's team really needs a basket here. Starting to see this one slip away. Johnson and Christopher. Oh, that's a nice move, splitting the double team, and Josh Christopher scores.
Well, you can tell this is a guy who's used to double and triple teams. He was patient. He picked up his dribble, looked for a space between defenders, a nice step through, and a soft finish. Much needed basket because at this point now, Mayfair can't afford to trade hoops. They're going to need some stops.
That was set up nicely on the isolation for Christopher. We had a kick ball out in front. Timeout on the floor. 3:37 left. Windward holding on, trying to move to the semifinals in D1 on our Game of the Week from the Pacific Surfliner people. They're great people. Our Game of the Week on KDOC.
Hi, Wingstop.
Thanks.
Tonight, turn it up with 11 flavors so intense your dinner won't know what hit it. And neither will you. When the dinner craving hits, Wingstop delivers. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
We switched. I switched to Chevy. I switched for more room. We switched.
Why do we switch?
For adventure. For this.
See why people are switching to Chevy.
I'm never switching back.
Get 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 cash allowance on most Equinox models when you finance with GM Financial. Or current competitive owners get $5,000 total cash allowance on most Equinox models. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
We hope you never have to call us.
Because it means something unexpected and bad has happened.
But if you do need us,
we want you to know we will always be here for you.
24 hours a day,
7 days a week.
Making sure you're treated like family.
With the dignity and respect
you deserve.
Standing with you.
Next to you.
Every step of the way.
Offering advice and a hand.
Working tirelessly.
To make sure you're protected. Protecting you since 1972.
Jacoby and Myers.
3:40 left. 60-54 for the Wildcats of Windward, trying to win their 24th game of the year. With Paul Westfall, the professor, I'm Randy Rosenblum. We're at the home of the Monsoons in Lakewood, Mayfair High School. They're putting up a battle against top-ranked Windward, but they're back by 6. They need some defensive stops, and they need a mad rush to the finish line.
Yeah, you got to play sound fundamental defense and make sure you get to the glass. No second chance opportunities for the taller Wildcats.
Tillis, who's hit some big shots throughout his career, fails here. And here comes Christopher on the break to Johnson for 2.
Oh, absolutely perfect if you're Mayfair. They force Tillis into a tough shot. They clear the glass and get out and run, and now we're within 4.
Very much part of this game are the Monsoons. They got that first defensive stop, and they turned it into a transition goal. Fans here hollering for a defensive stop.
Not sure why Windward doesn't have somebody at the free throw line. Now they finally do. Get the ball to Kajani Wright and make something happen.
Tillis. Harris rattled it in and out. Andrews there for a second opportunity.
Yep, second chance points could kill Mayfair. That's a foul, yes. Thought they weren't going to call that, but that's a...
They didn't call it.
Oh, my gosh. I thought play sort of stopped.
Yeah, Shaheed got his body into him, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he knocked him off his dribble, but I guess that they decided to let the kids settle this.
12 on the shot clock as it comes to Dylan Andrews. Trapped in the corner. Dangerous pass and intercepted beautifully by Adamora. And a knockdown and a foul.
Joseph with a fine open field tackle on Johnson.
Let's hope Dior's okay because he got hit by a physically imposing man at 280 pounds.
And that Johnson didn't mean to do that. He just got caught in an open court situation. It's hard to stop 280 pounds when you're a little bit off balance, and Johnson took the worst of it.
Dior's not happy about it. 9 team fouls against
Tony Davis
Windward.
going to take a timeout.
It should be a 1-on-1 here for Mayfair.
Yeah.
So there's the timeout, 2:16 left. Well, Mayfair's done what they've needed to do here late, Paul. They've gotten the defensive stops. They've gotten their offense going, and they had some transition goals.
Yeah, there's been a couple of stretches in this game where Mayfair's defense has gotten much more active. Their hands have been active. They're moving their feet with a little bit of purpose. They got a little flat there in the third quarter and allowed Windward to take the lead. But now Mayfair's got a little bounce in their step. And once again, you just want to make sure it's a one and done. If you can force Windward into a miss, then you got to corral the defensive rebound. But this is anybody's game with 2:16 left to go, and you got to take your hat off to Coach Tony Davis. That rigorous schedule that they played all season long. He told me that was designed to make sure that they were ready for. They knew they were moving up a division, and Division One has proved to be they're equal to the challenge.
Yeah, they won in a lower division last year over Rancho Cucamonga.
Right, 2AA.
Yep, 2AA. They won the game, and they had a great year. They finished up with the victory with 62-53. They've won championships here in 99, 2012, and of course last year. Great tradition on both sides. There's the head mentor. Danny's done a terrific job here. Started in his early 20s on campus as the head coach. So it's a 1-and-1 for Dior Johnson. Needs the first one to earn the bonus. That last foul that knocked him down on Joseph was Marcus's fourth. Big free throw.
Oh,
does not convert it.
Oh, those are huge. I mean, it's obvious, but even after a timeout where you had a chance to collect yourself, that one, mark that one down. That could be big.
And they missed some important foul shots in their last outing against Beverly Hills. They were fortunate to eke out the victory, but they need those foul shots here.
Exactly right. Both Christopher and Johnson missed the front ends of 1-and-1. Good job moving the ball.
Harris for three, and Christopher boxing out on Tillis. Christopher's going all the way. Did not get a call. That's what he was looking for. Inside of 2 minutes to play. Windward, the top seed, trying to get to the semis of D1. Inside, Joseph muscling up and scoring. Marcus Joseph having a big night for Windward.
Oh, that's a 280-pound guy, folks, and that was some pretty deft footwork to get himself a reverse layup.
Christopher, yes, the three ball for Josh Christopher. Suddenly it's a one-position game. Minute 14 to play. Christopher in rhythm, raised up, and I loved his delivery there. He was on balance.
Little between the legs, step back three, bang. I'll tell you, that's big time right there when they had to have it.
Well, he's hit off the glass, but he's done everything tonight. Him and Johnson have been spectacular.
As good as advertised, and Christopher showing the complete skill set. That's why Michigan, ASU, UCLA, and Missouri wish he would come their way.
I'm looking at this big blue M in the middle of the court. And I'm thinking, is that for Michigan, for Christopher? No, it's actually for Mayfair. 62-59, 1:14 left. There he is. Again, capable of hitting big shots. Of course, Devin Tillis has been the money man, has hit some game winners in his career in Windward. Again, Mayfair still needs a critical defensive stop.
Yeah, they're going to put that 2-2-1 zone press on. What they're going to try to do, they'll run and jump at the first recipient of the pass and see if they can force an errant pass. Adamora. This is how you do this, yes, just back and forth, moving it up a couple of feet at a time, and now you're in the attacking zone, you're in good shape.
Still 22 on the shot clock. Devin Tillis says, settle down. Time is our ally.
They've got Joseph in the free throw lane area, and you've got Wright on the baseline. You might be able to go over the top to Wright.
Now they have to go to work. 6 on the clock. They go down to Wright, and he missed the layup. Tipped it back up 3 times to Johnny Wright. Oh, that's a backbreaker. Here comes Christopher the other way. All the way. Got it back. Shaheed for 3. Johnson with 25 seconds left. Forces up a three and got it.
Oh,
what
goodness.
a shot by Dior Johnson. Timeout taken by Mayfair. How did he hit that shot?
Oh, my goodness. With everything, with the season on the line, are you kidding me? A step-through three, a leaning three. Oh, with winning and losing at stake, that is a money shot. Dior Johnson has been spectacular tonight, scoring in so many different ways and distributing the basketball while playing solid defense. This young man's future is so bright.
That was that ankle breaker
Yes,
on English in the first half, which is unbelievable.
But this one here where he steps through and knocks it down with if they miss, the game's probably over, and now they still have a chance. What you're going to try to do is go for a steal early, but if you don't get the steal, you're going to put Windward on the free throw line and hope they only make one, but you got to extend the game a little bit. But you've got enough time that you can try to go for a steal. But if they get a couple of passes and get this thing inside of maybe 15 seconds, I think you've got to play the foul game from there.
When you have Josh Christopher and Dior Johnson, you have a chance.
Yes.
They give you that opportunity. Of course, we're going to have a Wingstop player of the game. We'll select as soon as this one is over, and that's still yet to be determined. There's a prime candidate in Dior Johnson. If somehow Mayfair can pull it out, they have to get a turnover. They need a stop, down by 2.
First pass will probably go to Tillis here. No, he's going to set a screen. Yeah, I would think get it into Tillis. There you go.
Nearly stolen away. It's deflected out of bounds.
Was that Adamora again? Yes, that football instincts, like a good defensive back, he jumped the route. They were a little slow on the delivery to Tillis. They had him open, and a little bit of a pump fake by Andrews almost cost him.
Checking the clock, so the officials have come over to the scores table.
Yeah, some time should have come off of that. I would have thought. The ball was inbounded, but they're going to leave it at 22.3.
Brought into Tillis, and they quickly foul him. It's only the 15th foul, so they have fouls to give, which kind of works against them.
Yes, sometimes the lack of fouls can cost you, and that's why they fouled immediately, and that's a good call, Randy. I did not take a notice of the team fouls, so they'll do it again. They've got to foul. They got to do 3 more before they can put them on the line. Oh, hurry.
Trouble to get it in. Timeout taken by Windward.
Good timeout by Coach Pfaff because they were dangerous. That was close to 4.
Well, Kajani Wright's played big and not a shock. The sophomore, a man-child for Windward.
Well, in that last sequence where he tipped it not once, not twice, but 3rd time's a charm, much-needed basket. And he was quicker off the floor than everybody else for Mayfair. And that might be the basket that clinches a berth in the semifinals against Jay Serra. And there it is. You can see him working hard, staying with it all the way until finally he drops it in.
If Windward wins, they advance to play Jay Serra, as the professor just noted. It would be at Jay Serra. That would be a very entertaining game. That building will be alive.
Yes, because Jay Serra's got the size to combat Windward's post game. And then anytime you've got Ian Martinez, you're in every game, much like Windward feels with the star players that they have. They think that, they oftentimes have the best player on the floor, but Ian Martinez might have a little bit to say about that. That should be a humdinger if that's the way it finishes. But I wouldn't sell Mayfair short yet.
So thrilled you're with us on KDOC on our Pacific Surfliner game of the week. Final 21 ticks to decide it. Will Kajani's bucket be the difference?
Now, Andrews has got to be more decisive with this inbound pass. Oh, that's not so good.
Now you got to take that quick foul, which Adamora does.
Now they have to do it one more time, so when push comes to shove, there'll probably be about 18 seconds left.
What I love here is they're taking 2 fouls and only taking 2 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, a little bit of home cooking, I think, on that.
They turned it over. Here's Christopher all the way. Ties it at 64. And
foul.
A foul. Which way is it going?
Foul on the floor against Windward. It'll be 2 shots on the 10th team foul. They're going to wave off the basket, foul on the floor against Windward, and Christopher will go to the line to shoot 2.
Could not hear the whistle in here. Boy, that's unfortunate for Christopher because his bucket tied it.
There's the foul. I'm not sure about that one, but a decisive call by our official. He jumped in there before Christopher let it go. But now the biggest free throws of the McDonald's All-Americans' storied career here at Mayfair.
Very good foul shooter normally, but he needs 2 with 15 seconds left.
Oh.
Now, do you make the second one? I think you do with this much time.
Yeah, and they'll play that foul game again. But oh my goodness gracious.
Christopher is a 76% foul shooter. Still down by 2. It's a 1-point game.
And you'll do the exact same thing you did when you were down 2. You foul immediately. No, they don't. Time running off the clock.
There's the foul. Adamora takes it with just about 8 seconds left.
Well, and
7.8 is the official time. So we'll round it off to 8 seconds.
The reason you definitely foul, and that's why I thought they'd foul earlier, because even if he makes them both, you still have a chance to tie. So that's why the one free throw by Christopher was really important. But what you have to ensure, if he misses, you've got to keep Kajani Wright off the board. Mayfair has to get this rebound if he misses.
1 and 1. Tillis earns the bonus. The veteran, the UNLV commit, trying to build it to a 3-point lead. There is time for Mayfair.
Still no time to panic if you're Mayfair. Even if he makes it, then you got to wonder if Windward will foul before you shoot a 3.
Missed the second one. Here comes Christopher. Down by 2. Josh Christopher all the way. Came up empty. There is a whistle and a foul, and it's going, I believe, against Mayfair.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Christopher. He's been the guy who has carried this team for 4 years. He got what he wanted. He got to the rim. The ball just came up a little bit short. And even if Joseph were to miss here, it would take a length of the court shot. And a valiant effort by the Monsoons and Tony Davis. Oh my gosh, you had your best player, your McDonald's All-American, in the open court, and the finger roll just came up a little short.
And you go back to the previous possession, Paul, when he scored the tying bucket, but the foul was called when the ball was in the floor. You could not hear it in the building. It was so loud. Free throw is good by Marcus Joseph. The next one can seal it. In all probability, Windward's in anyway.
Right.
Joseph has come up big. Him and Wright, tremendous inside presence.
What a game, though. The 8 seed Mayfair made Windward the top seed. They made him sweat.
Timeout taken with just 1 second left. Well, Devin Tillis has been terrific tonight. That's no surprise. The veteran performer of Windward.
Yes, and so often when things were getting a little chaotic, his steady hand steered the Windward ship into the semifinals, and a couple of big free throws. Tillis, as good as everybody said he has been for his whole Windward career, and it's going to be enough to get him into the semis.
Just listening to the Windward huddle, we can hear him do it all right. All the kids were smiling, saying no fouls. They understand they have a 4-point advantage. Get out of the way of the 3. You know the 3's coming from the backcourt from Mayfair. Don't do anything silly. You have the basketball game. If you don't commit the foul, they know it. It looks like they're going to Jay Serra to take on the Lions. That'll be a tremendous basketball game in San Juan Capistrano.
No doubt. One thing for sure, Keith Wilkinson's Jay Serra Lions will not be intimidated. You don't play in the Trinity League and play the likes of Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. You're not afraid of anybody. That should be a classic.
They give him the bucket, the slam dunk for Josh Christopher. Nice way to let him finish his high school career. Kajani Wright, number 33, a splendid game. His big basket He's going to be our star player, I presume. We got a nice picture of him. We'll come back and tell you if he's our Wingstop player of the game. Windward by 2 on the Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week on KDOC.
Hi, Wingstop.
Thanks.
Tonight, turn it up with 11 flavors so intense your dinner won't know what hit it, and neither will you. When the dinner craving hits, Wingstop delivers. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Names matter. Your name, the name you've made for yourself, and the name of the company you represent. That's why at 4imprint, every name and logo is printed with certainty. Right the first time, on time, every time, at a great price, guaranteed. Because when you have passion, integrity, and certainty, the only name they'll remember is yours. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
This is the Chevy Silverado with the world's first invisible trailer.
Invisible trailer?
Hop in. Silverado offers an optional technology package with up to 15 different views, including one enhanced view that makes your trailer appear invisible.
Wow. That's pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Where's the trailer though?
Or current qualified Silverado lessees can lease this Silverado Custom without optional tech package or enhanced invisible view for around $239 a month. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on all Silverado 1500 crew cab pickups when you purchase.
Well, there's the final score. Windward, the top seed of the Division I tournament, 67-65 over a very game Mayfair Monsoon team. Our Wingstop player of the game is Kajani Wright. Just turned 17 a couple weeks ago. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the game. I know you worked well inside. Talk about what you were trying to accomplish, especially against that zone when they went to the 2-3 zone later in the game.
I think we just want to stay composed, get the ball inside as much as possible. I know before, in the first couple quarters, we were able to do good in getting ball inside, so that was really our focus when they went in 2-3.
I hear from everyone, and that's just a great effort there, putting it back in, that Kajani Wright is a good teammate. What makes you a good teammate?
I don't know. I'm very unselfish. Hustle on both ends of the court. I'm really for my dogs. I don't really care about stats, points. I'm ready to get the win.
You're young. You're a 10th grader.
As
I said, you just turned 17. Where's that maturity come from in your background?
My mom, definitely. I think growing up, I think I just wanted to be mature, and I was ready for this basketball life. So I guess it just set up how it was.
You're number 1 seeded, but it doesn't mean in these championships you get any home court advantage.
Right.
You got to go to J. Sarah that eked out a victory tonight. I don't know if you knew that. So it looks like you're going to go play J. Sarah Catholic. They have Ian Martinez, a great player. Your thoughts about going to San Juan Capistrano to take on the Lions?
Just prepare it as any other game. There's nothing really, do anything different. Just prepare and get ready to fight.
Kajani, congratulations.
Thank you.
There's our Wingstop player of the game, Kajani Wright. His team prevails 67-65 tonight. A big victory over Mayfair. Congratulations to Windward getting their 24th victory of the season. There's our games. We're going to pick one of those games. I got a feeling that Mater Dei at Harvard Westlake could be a huge battle. We're going to decide. That'll be our Friday night tip-off at 7:30. Probably Mater Dei at Harvard Westlake, but still Windward and J. Sarah, and I'm sure Kajani would like to be on TV again. That's still in the running for our Pacific Surfliner Game of the Week. That's going to wrap it up for my buddy, my new friend Kajani Wright, and for the Professor Paul Westphal, and all the guys on our David Otta crew. Terrific job in this quarterfinal game. Hard-earned victory for the Cats on the road. 67-65, number 1 prevails. What a barn burner this was. It was a fun fourth quarter. Great action. Dior Johnson was phenomenal in a losing cause for Mayfair. For our entire crew, my name's Randy Rosenbaum. So long from Lakewood. Congratulations to the number 1 seeded Windward Wildcats. They're on to the semis. Good night, everybody.